You are doing everything right. Let me be clear about that before we go any further. You are waking up early, staying up late, working hard, providing, showing up every single day for your family. And somehow, despite all of that effort, your teenager looks at you like you are a stranger. That silence at the dinner table, that one-word answer when you ask about their day, that door closing a little too firmly, you feel it, and it hurts in a way that is almost impossible to describe to anyone who has not lived it. This video is going to change how you see that relationship entirely. But first, I need you to hear something that most parenting advice completely skips over. The problem is almost never what you think it is. Parents spend years trying to fix the wrong thing. They try talking more, setting stricter rules, giving more freedom, taking phones away, scheduling family time, and nothing sticks. The distance stays, because the real issue runs deeper than any of those solutions can reach. There is a way to rebuild what feels broken. Not with more time, because you do not have more time. Not with more money. Not with more sacrifice. With something much simpler, much faster, and far more powerful than anything you have tried before. And if you genuinely want to stop feeling invisible to your own child, stay with me, because what I am about to share has already helped thousands of parents experience real breakthroughs in weeks, not years. Now, before we go further, there is a program linked in the video description below. I'm going to mention it briefly now because the parents who move fast on this are the ones who see results fast. The ones who wait, the ones who think they will come back to it later, usually never do. And their kids grow up a little more disconnected every single month. If that thought even slightly scares you, go check it out now and come back. For everyone else, let us get into the deepest, most honest conversation about this topic that you have probably ever heard. Picture this. You are standing in the kitchen after a long day. You are exhausted in a bone-deep way that sleep does not fully fix anymore. Your teenager walks in, opens the fridge, says nothing, and walks back out. And in that 10-second interaction, something in you quietly breaks. Not dramatically, not with tears. Just a small internal collapse, because you remember when that same person used to run to you, used to grab your hand, used to tell you everything, and now you feel like a roommate in your own home. That feeling has a name. It is called emotional disconnection, and it is one of the most quietly devastating experiences a parent can go through, because it is not a crisis anyone can see. Nobody is calling for help. Nobody is in danger. From the outside, everything looks fine, but inside you are grieving a closeness that used to feel so natural and now feels completely out of reach. Here is what the research consistently shows. Teenagers do not pull away from parents because they do not care. They pull away because they have learned through hundreds of small interactions that being emotionally open with their parent is not safe. Not safe emotionally, not safe from judgment, not safe from being fixed, corrected, redirected, or minimized. And every single one of those small moments where they felt dismissed or misunderstood built a wall brick by brick that neither of you even noticed going up. Parents who are busy carry an invisible burden on top of all of this. When you are stretched thin, your nervous system is already in survival mode. You are managing work stress, financial stress, household logistics, health, relationships, and about 40 other things simultaneously. And when your teenager comes to you with something emotional, something complicated, something that requires you to slow way down and really be present, your overwhelmed brain often defaults to fixing mode or dismissal mode without you even realizing it. You say things like, well, just ignore them, or you will be fine, or that is not a big deal, and you mean well, you genuinely mean well. But your teenager heard something entirely different. They heard, your feelings are inconvenient to me right now, and they file that away. And the next time something happens, they do not come to you. They go to their phone, they go to their friends, they go to the internet. They process everything without you. And slowly, you become less and less relevant to their inner world. That is the cost of emotional disconnection. And it compounds. Every week that passes where the real conversation does not happen, where the genuine check-in does not happen, where the true emotional contact does not happen, the wall gets thicker. Teenagers who feel emotionally unseen by their parents are statistically more likely to struggle with anxiety, make riskier decisions, be heavily influenced by peer pressure, and carry patterns of emotional unavailability into their own adult relationships and eventually into their own parenting. You are not just affecting right now. This runs forward through generations. Now here is where everything changes. The parents who successfully build deep emotional trust with their teenagers do not do it by being perfect. They do not do it by having all the right words. They do not even do it by being endlessly patient. They do it by consistently doing a handful of very specific things that signal safety to their teenager's nervous system. And once that signal gets through, once your teenager's brain registers that you are a safe place to be real, everything shifts. The first thing is what I call the pause before the response. Teenagers test emotional safety in split seconds. They say something vulnerable, something slightly edgy, something that is a small reach toward you, and they are watching your face, your tone, your body language in the first 2 seconds of your response, not what you say, how you land. Most parents fail this test automatically because they are running on autopilot. They react instead of respond. The pause, even 2 seconds of genuine pause before you respond, sends a message to your teenager's brain that says, "You are worth thinking about. You are worth slowing down for." That is more powerful than almost any words that follow. The second thing is the art of emotional validation without solution. This one breaks almost every busy parent because our brains are wired for efficiency. We hear a problem, we want to solve it, we want to close the loop so we can move to the next thing. But teenagers do not primarily need solutions. They need to feel understood first. A parent who can look at their teenager and say, "That sounds really hard, that makes complete sense that you would feel that way," before offering any advice at all, is a parent who is building a deposit in the emotional trust bank with every single interaction. The third thing, and this one is perhaps the most underrated, is consistent micro-presence. Not grand gestures, not family vacations, not the long heart-to-heart conversation you keep meaning to have. Micro-presence. The 30 seconds in the car where you turn the music down and actually look at them. The 2 minutes before they go to sleep where you sit on the edge of the bed and say nothing particularly profound, just stay. The brief text that says, "Thinking of you today," with zero expectation of a response. These tiny consistent signals accumulate into something your teenager cannot ignore. They accumulate into the feeling of being seen. And here is the thing that genuinely moves me when I see it happen for parents. When a teenager starts to feel that consistent emotional safety from a parent, they begin opening up in ways that seem sudden and surprising. It does not happen gradually and predictably. It happens in a rush. One day out of nowhere, they are sitting in your passenger seat and they start telling you something real. Something they have been holding for months. And it feels like a dam breaking. That is not a coincidence. That is not luck. That is the accumulated result of every single micro moment of presence and validation you invested in, often with no visible return, until suddenly there was a return all at once. Parents who go through transformation like this describe it as one of the most profound shifts of their entire life. Not just in their relationship with their teenager, but in themselves. Because the skills that build emotional trust with a teenager are the same skills that heal adult relationships, repair old wounds, and change the emotional atmosphere of an entire household. Other children in the home feel it, partners feel it, you feel it. The ripple from learning to build genuine emotional safety is not small, it is enormous. And the data is clear. Parents who actively develop emotional attunement skills see improvements in their child's emotional regulation, academic motivation, and overall mental health in measurably short periods of time. We are not talking about a decade of family therapy. We are talking about weeks of consistent intentional practice. Now I want to speak directly to the parent who is watching this and thinking, "Yes, but my situation is different. My teenager is really shut down. We have not had a real conversation in so long. Things have gotten pretty bad." You might be thinking that this sounds good for someone else, but your window is already closed. I want you to hear this clearly. The parents who see the most dramatic transformations are almost always the ones who believe the relationship was too far gone. Disconnection is not damage, it is distance. And distance can be crossed. You did not lose your child. Your child is still there, waiting, even if they do not know it yet, for you to show up differently. Everything I have shared today, the pause, the validation, the micro-presence, the nervous system signals, the emotional safety framework, these are not theories. These are documented, tested, real-world practices that work even in high-conflict situations, even after long periods of silence, even when trust has been broken. The program linked in the video description below takes everything we have talked about and walks you through it with step-by-step guidance so you are never left guessing what to do next. The parents who invest in that process do not sit around hoping something changes. They become the change. They stop losing months and years to a distance that does not have to exist. If there is even a small part of you that felt something watching this video, that recognized your family and what I described, do not close this tab and tell yourself you will come back later. That is the story people tell themselves right before nothing changes. Go to the description. Take the next step. Your teenager is worth it. And honestly, so are you.